Okay, I'm recording now. I will repeat this again because I haven't recorded that yet. So you see that I have created this detail line, and now I can change the line style. So first I can change, yeah, I can change the line style here. I can select the hidden, and I can select medium. No. If I can't find the line type that I want, I can always select them. Hidden is fine because I need something like this. And then I can override graphics, and here I can select the weight. So let's try 4. No, need to do this. Okay, I think 4 is not enough, so I will select all these lines again. And I think if I select 6, yeah, 6 goes well. What if I want to make these lines thinner? So I would select this element, the projection lines. I would use the thinnest. See what happens. It doesn't happen. We have to fix this because even the thinnest line is too thick here. But at least I know the idea that I have a waterproof element here, and then I have something here to protect this waterproof element. And since we have the same grayish color here, I think we can select all these. We can make it, this is the cut pattern. Well, I can work with cut lines. So these cut lines, I can make them, I can work with that weight. Okay, that works now. And then the background pattern, I can select the solid color, and I can make it lighter. Okay, so it's good having different line types here. And I think now if I select this, okay, now the cut lines, I can reduce the weight. Now it works. Yeah. Okay, so now all these lines are thin, except this one, and this line belongs to what? Does it belong to? Yeah, I think it belongs to this element. And the cut lines are 1. Yep. Now it looks better. And this is the flashing, this element protecting all these here. So this is an aluminum. And for this element, we can try something different. We can override. We can, the cut patterns, I think I'm going to use the diagonal down. Okay. And yeah, I think now there's a difference. We can use something different here. And this has to be lighter. Okay, so now there is a difference between the roof, the sandwich panel with these 2 layers and the rigid insulation in the middle. Then we have this waterproof layer, and we have to protect this waterproof layer because it cannot be exposed. And here we have this flashing or this cap to protect the rest of the roof. So there are a lot of things here. What else can we do? Well, when we are working with this, well, let's fix this first, because this is the curtain wall and this is the mullion. And by default, we have this rectangle. if we want to make this call out, if we want to make this, because that works well in this section, we don't need more detail here because it's enough. By the way, can I change override graphics? Yeah, I have to work with cut lines and make everything one. Yeah. And if we select this, yeah, that's better. First, we are going to insert something here for this curtain wall. We have to insert a detail component. And for this detail component, I have this. But where did I get this detail? I got this detail from insert, family, library, and we have curtain panel, curtain wall, panels. No, those are the panels. Well, this is interesting. We can use this, but not today. Load family. Where did I get this detail? I don't remember. Anyway, I'll let you know later, but I found this annotate component, detail component, and this is just a mullion with the glass here. That will be the bottom of the curtain wall, and this is the top. But this is the glass and this is the curtain wall, so I think we have to flip it or we have to rotate it 180 degrees. Yep. And now we can place it here. Is it the best curtain wall detail that we can find? No, it's not. And well, when I was working in a curtain wall company, we had a company that was devoted to install curtain walls. I learned a lot about this, and when I see this, I say, well, what's that? Okay, curtain walls are like a different universe, a different world. And they are quite complicated. Okay, so here you can see this is a typical mullion, a typical curtain wall mullion. Here, this is the double glass, and as you can see, it's much more complicated than the thing that we have here in the Revit file. First, usually this is a different element, so we don't have this element that is connected here. We have two different elements. We have the mullion, and then we have a cap here that is bolted to that mullion. This is what we see here. So we have the mullion, and then we have this cap, and then there's a bolt here, and it's bolted to this element. And there are a lot of, this is a universe itself, so there are a lot of small pieces here. So we can be as accurate as we want, but well, curtain walls are complicated, and if we are looking for a good detail for curtain walls, what do we have to keep in mind? Okay, we always need to break the thermal breach. Okay, so this detail is terrible because if everything is connected, if this boolean is connected to this cap, there is a thermal breach, and this is inside the house, and this is outside because the glass is what separates inside from outside. Okay, so we are connecting two things. This is outside, and this is inside. Well, this is totally wrong. We have to break this here, and we need two different elements. We need to differentiate between the inside element and the outside element here. So this is what we have with this good detail. Okay, as you can see here, I can zoom in. This is the indoor mullion. Here we have the glass, and here we have the thermal breach. We break the thermal breach because we don't continue the aluminum here and the aluminum there. This is plastic, or this is something that it's a thermal insulating material, and that's the connection between this and that. And then this is bolted here. Quite complicated, but if we are looking for that, we have to, if we want to see if a curtain wall is a good one, we need this element. We need this black element here, and this is the thermal breakage or the thermal breach solution, because we are not contacting the outdoor element to the indoor element. That's how it works. This default Revit detail that we can find is it's bad, but what can we do? This is what we have, and it's not easy to find it. So I will send you a template with all these elements that we are using, but at least we have to try to use this one, okay? Because the rectangle is worse. So let's use this one. When we have this, we have to seal, because this is the roof panel. Here we have this, and this always happens when I was talking in 360 in solar design or building science too about air leakage. Okay, this is an air leakage, or this has an air leakage potential, because the air can go through this crack. This is very small. It's a quarter an inch or even less, so it's almost nothing. But if the wind blows, it will end up entering through this element here. Okay. How can we solve this? By sealing. We need to use sealant, silicone. Okay, so we have these wonderful materials. Well, wonderful. They are useful, but we have to minimize the use of these. So we have to make this crack as small as possible, because if the crack is 2 inches, there is no way that we can use this with silicone. But if we have a small crack, then we have to seal all these elements. So there are a lot of sealing elements. There are, I think the most famous one is Dow Corning. Yeah. So this Dow Corning, you can find thousands of, because this is an artificial product. This is a polymer. It's artificial product. And well, depending on the chemistry, you can have some properties or other properties. Is this environmental friendly? Not at all. But that's why we have to use it. We have to use these kind of elements or these kind of sealants with very small gaps. So if we have huge gaps, it won't work. And I told you, well, this is not friendly at all. It's toxic, but it's useful because it prevents water and air from entering the building. So we need to, there's 2 brands, Dow Corning and Sika. What's the other one? Yeah. I think Sika is from Europe and the Dow Corning is from the United States. So I don't know, but those are the two big branches for sealants. How does it work in a curtain wall detail? Here we don't see that. We need something bigger. No, what was it? Okay, this one. Yeah, there you go. So we always have to seal. So there will be always a gap between this element and the floor, in the false ceiling or the slab or whatever. So you see that when we have these kind of elements, these are the, or these. Okay, so we always have to fix those gaps. And this is what we are going to do here. What can we do? And if we use two pieces, much better. So I will work with the field region, and I'm going to design something like this, and then I will create something curved. Okay, so this is a typical profile of this element, of this silicone. We always have this profile like this, and we click OK. And well, this is usually something we have a dark gray color. This is the background. I don't want this visible. Oh, I have to use the solid color. Okay, there you go. And now we have to copy this here. Do I have to do it again? Come on. All it. Okay. So this is important. If we have a double sealant, it's much better than just a single one. Does it last forever? Not at all. So in 5 to 10 years, depending on the weather, depending on the temperature, we have to replace all these. So these kind of details, we need maintenance for this. Okay, so every 5 years, we have to hire a company and they have to review all these elements to see if they have to replace the silicone again, because it doesn't last forever. So that's why we have to reduce the number of gaps, and then we have to reduce the size of that gap, because otherwise there will be a lot of problems. Okay, so that looks like, and now as you can see, we have this aluminum element protecting this. So we have protected this, so water doesn't get here because we have this element moving the water out. But even though we need to seal these 2 points because of the wind, and because water can do this. If it rains, I don't know how, but water can end up entering here, so we need to seal this. And is this completed? Yeah, pretty much. We have the sandwich panel, the thermal insulation, waterproof layer, something to protect the waterproof layer, and this element protecting everything. And now here we have the curtain wall mullion, and we have the sealant. To make things, I think we can work with this, and we can use a surface pattern. made of. Yeah. Okay, and now we have to start naming things. Uh, so we can go to annotate text. I can select this one. And now my favorite task, giving names to things. What is this? This is coping, aluminum coping. I always copy because I want these to be aligned. So if I have to change this, I can do this, and I can call this rigid insulation. We have to specify inches, 4 inches, rigid insulation. And what else? This is ½ inch aluminum. I can copy this here. No, move it. Okay, this element is the EPDM brain. And well, we can put names to, or give names to everything. What is this? This is the truss top core. And if we select this element, this is W. Yeah, so we can add all this information. W310 times 38.7. W310 times 38.7. Okay, if we know the element, we can name it. And what else? We can move this up. And if we know this element here, this is what is this? This is beam W4 times 13. Beam system W4 times 13. We are defining each element that we have here. We can go down now. Can move this slightly up. And what do you call this? Waterproof silicone sealant. Something else? Yes. This is double glass. Or I can move this down. And this can be the curtain wall mullion. Well, now that it looks like a detail. Is it completed? No, not yet. You see that when we're working with the coping, we have this gap between this and this. This is because we can have a weld connection here. So here we have space for the welding material to, yeah, because we need to, yeah, by welding, we're just connecting this to this, and now it is the same material, or we can bolt it. We have, when we're working with steel structures, we have welded uh, connections, steel. Okay, so here you see this is a welded connection. So we have two different elements, and then we have this material, and these materials, basically it's like burning this and this with this material, and then we place it together, and when it gets cold, everything belongs to the same material. So this is a welded connection. And then we have bolted steel connections. So those are bolted connections. In America, I think construction companies, they use these kind of connections. Welded connections is in Europe. We always weld things. I don't know why. Anyway, either way, works. Um, okay, so if we have to connect this and that, we can have a bolted connection like this, or we can weld it, and we won't have all these bolts and this profile here. I'm I don't mind. So you can do whatever you feel like. So we can define this. If we have bolted here, we can define the angle, the bolts. So this can take forever. We are stopping here because this is your first approach to a construction detail. And I think if you are able to do this, that's more than enough so far. Okay, now on this, here we have all this information and it looks much better. We have to do the same with the second detail here, with the second call out here. Okay, we can do it. Let's do it. In this section too, I think at some point, cut lines. Cut lines. Okay. I don't know when, but I have lost the gutter here because it's another here. So let's copy. And now we can work with the callout number 2. Okay. So I'll do it again. I didn't record this at the beginning, so I'm going to do it again. Annotate, region, masking. Now I override graphics, and it is I don't want this pattern, and the background is solid 250, 250, 100. Now I place the thermal insulation here. This is the gutter. Now I'm going to insert first the uh, detail. This thing here, but now I have to mirror. And now I place it here. And this will always happen. So there will always be a gap here, and then we have to apply the sealant here so we can create another field region, and I can seal this. Okay, so this is gonna be the surface patterns. I will use the background with dark gray. Okay, and now why the hell can't I copy the color? Well, you have to, it has to be the same color for sure. And this is the, I think we can align this here. Yeah. And now we have to use the same color code for this. This is the gutter now, which is something new. So what can we use? Can we use a cut pattern? This one. And let's make it, okay. And now that was lighter. And finally, we need the waterproof element here. And we can use annotate detail line. Okay, so from this to this, we have to select all these. We have to make it hidden. And now we have to override, and the weight was 6. Why? Hmm? Let's do it again. Annotate detail. Why is it not in the middle? I'm going to select this, override, hidden, and 6. There you go. Well, not bad. And now I'm going to select this and that. And I'm going to use a light gray. Or even lighter. Almost. Well, here you see what I was mentioning before. Here we don't have a nice cope between this element and that element. Can I do it? Let's see. If I select this and this, and now I cope, still cope, will it work? Yes, it works. Well, it looks nicer now. But again, if this is too, if you have this slightly above, there will be a weird coping here. The cleaner, the better. So the fewer cuts or the fewer issues we have with this, the better the design will be. But it comes with experience. It's not easy at the first time doing this. And well, here we have something that I don't like because this is like, there's a gap here. Everything is protected, but I'm sure if, because water weighs a lot. So if we have a water here and we don't have anything here underneath, this will cause the weight of the water that is in this gutter will cause problems here. So I would use another masking region or field region, and then I'll try to do something like this. What is this? I don't know, but I know that there should be something there because this has to rest on something. So this can be something that is resting on that beam, and then it's holding the weight of this gutter or this roof panel here. Okay, so I don't know what this is, but I know that it can't be empty. It cannot be a air gap. Okay, and can we see this? Yeah, you can add exactly the same materials here. It will be the same, but it doesn't matter if you repeat information. It's even better if you repeat it. Okay, so don't say that, no, you can, yeah, we have the same materials. So that would be the same mullion, and that would be the same insulation, and that would be the same. Well, it can be the same or it can be different, but you can add the same materials here, probably in this direction now. Here, for example, here we have a gutter that we don't have in this detail, in this top detail. Okay, so at least we have something different here. And here we have this bottom chord, and the bottom chord can be different from the top chord. In this case, I think they are the same, but they can be different. And this is the diagonal web. The diagonal web is different as well. So we can come here, we can select this, and this is W5 times 19. Okay, so you can have this detail here, and you can name this in a different way. It's up to you, but well, now it looks well because when we have this detail, if we zoom in, well, it's fine. At this scale, it's fine. Here we have a rectangle. We know that this will be a curtain wall, and we know that there's a thermal insulation, but zooming in, oof, this is a mess. I cannot understand what we have here, all the layers that we have here. And there is no, I cannot name all these layers because there is no difference between them. But then with the call out, I zoom in and I see that there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers, and I can name them all. And yeah, and if I zoom in, so if I try to define this, I can have another call out on this corner, but we're not going to do that. But that's the right flow of information. We have a section. We are not working with sections here, but we could. We have section number 3. Okay, so this is the section. So in one of the sheets, we will have this section. Section 3. And we can make it bigger. 1/4. Okay, so this section is the whole building. Then we have a detail of this section, because in this kind of buildings, if I solve this and then I repeat it, I have the whole building. So that's this is not just about Revit, this is about design strategies. So there are buildings in which if I solve the space between 2 columns, then by repeating this, I end up having the whole building, and it's good. So just by copying all these details. So here in this section, I have everything. Then the next step will be this sheet in which I have a detail of this section, and then here I have the callouts. So I'm increasing this scale is 3/8. This scale is 1/4. Okay, so I'm increasing the scale, and I'm providing the construction company with more information. But this is the right flow of information in construction drawings. We start with the general, with the plans, the section of the building. We need this, but then we need details. And here I have a 3D detail, which is useful because I'm defining all this wall. I'm defining this section here, but now I'm defining all the elements and all the layers that we have here with the callout. And can we improve this? Yes. The first thing I would improve is this, the curtain wall, because I'm not happy with this Revit curtain wall. Anyway, it's better than nothing. Yeah, but now it looks like a professional project. It's not just design, it's about construction, and it's about materials. And yeah, so looking at this, then you can discuss with the engineers. Okay, what kind of EPDM membrane? Well, I don't know. No, that matters because there are thousands of membranes. So, oh, really? Yes. But now you can discuss things. Or what kind of rigid insulation? Is it extruded polystyrene, or is it another kind of foam? Well, now we can discuss because we have made decisions and we can move on. Well, this is the first set of callouts here, and we are defining this roof. And we don't need anything for that roof because it's always the same. That detail will be the same as this one, and this detail is the same as that one. So by repeating this element, we can build the whole roof. What can we do now? Here, I want you to work with this plan callouts. Okay, so we're going to work with this wall. This is the first floor wall. We have the concrete blocks, the 2 layers of thermal insulation. Here there's a steel structure, the steel column, and this is filled with fire retardant. Okay, when we have a steel structure, the first goal is to protect the steel from fire, and we have to do it from inside. Outside, it doesn't matter because it's not likely that we have fire outside. It can happen for sure, but it's not likely. Fires usually come from inside. We can have an issue with the mechanical equipment, or we can have, well, I don't know. But usually issues with fire are from inside. So that's why we have to protect this structure from fire. And to do that, I will work with glass wool. I will use rigid insulation outdoors because outdoors it can be exposed to water, and I think the rigid insulation works better. But here indoors, I would use a glass wool because a glass wool it's a fire retardant. Okay, so it protects any material against fire, and we want to protect the steel. Concrete is not affected too much by fire, but again, it's protected by this glass wool insulation. So glass wool, it's at the same time thermal insulation and fire retardant. And then we can have gypsum board. A gypsum board is, again, it's another fire retardant material. Okay, so by using these two materials inside, I protect the structure from fire. And then if it's not enough because I have to protect this. So you see that this column is like floating on this fire retardant foam. What is fire retardant foam? For steel structures. Hmm? Do we have pictures on this? No. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so we have this foam protecting this element from fire. If we are working with steel structures, yeah, usually we have this. The problem is that this is ugly, so it cannot be exposed because it's not beautiful, it's not pleasant. But it helps. So that's why if I want to see the structure, I want to see the structure from outside. From inside, I have to protect it. So I have this foam here. So I fill all this with foam. I protect this structure, and then I even use the glass wool. Okay, but this is the kind of protection that we can have with steel structures, something like this. Um, yeah, so we have these guys. It's kind of fun, yes. Okay, let's do this. We have to work with level 0. So here on level 0, we had the walls like this. We are going to work with this corner, and then we are going to work with this connection. We had already divided this in parts. Okay, so you remember that we divided this in parts. But now I'm going to move this. This is the concrete block. I'm going to move it that way. And then I'm going to select the concrete block, and I'm going to move it that way. Why? Because I want to fill all this gap with this fire retardant material. That would be the glass wool, and that will be the gypsum board. Okay. And well, I will do something for this place. And here, yes, I'm going to work with the Yeah, so I want to protect this with a fire retardant material. So this is the concrete masonry unit, and this is the concrete masonry unit. Okay, we can work with callouts. View. I'm going to work with the callout here. And then instead of doing another callout, I can copy the first one. And then these two lines will be parallel. It will look much better. And here we have level 0 callout 1 and level 0 callout 2. So let's work with this. And yeah, well, you can see the first thing you can notice here is that we have the parts, but we have the original wall. Okay, so this is the wall, and this is part. We have to hide this in view. We cannot delete it. We can't delete this wall because if we delete the wall, we delete the parts. But there are two different entities. Well, different entities. We have the wall itself, and then we have the parts. So if we want to work with the detail, we have to hide in view this category walls, and now we only have the parts. I need to make this larger. And now we have to work with the same criteria. So if we are working with this with the yellowish color, we have to do it. So we have to override this in view. I don't want to see the cut pattern, and I want to see the material with the color 250. And then I can use the thermal insulation detail. Okay. This is rigid insulation, and I want this to be glass wool. Well, if we have two different thermal insulating materials, I would use different colors. We can override graphics, and I don't know, for this one, I don't want the cut pattern, and this can be something grayish. Yeah, because this glass wool or the rock, yeah, the rock wool is always something greenish, something like that. But if it's a thermal insulation, the hatch can be the same. Okay, so now here we have the rigid insulation outside, makes sense, and glass wool inside. And that will be the gypsum board, this one. And what about this? Well, this is the concrete masonry unit. I think it will look better if we insert the concrete masonry unit as a detail. Do we have rock brick storefront typical mullion? No. So I have to insert family, the detail component. Where's the detail? Detail items. And here we have masonry. If you don't have it, don't worry, I will send this for you. Here we have concrete masonry units, and we need a top Yep. So this is a top concrete masonry unit. Is there something better? Round face. Well, whatever. That works. So now I can insert this, but this is a 4-inch. I think this is an 8-inch wall. Yes, it is 8 inches. So I can insert one, and I can insert the second, or I can create a repeating detail. I think I did this before, but I'm going to do it again. So if we want to create a repeating detail component, we have only the brick one. You can edit type, and we can duplicate, and we can call this concrete masonry unit. Well, this is 8-inch concrete masonry unit, top. This has to be the 8x8 concrete masonry unit. The distance, inside spacing. Okay, we will find out what that means. But now if I do this, whoop, no, this is not what I want. First, I need the spacing. What is the spacing? I need to uh, annotate the distance. Okay, so this is 1 foot and 4 inches. So I can always select this, edit type, and then the spacing is 1 foot and 4 inches. Apply. Is this what we want? No, we don't want this. So what can we do? We can edit type, and there's a rotation. 90. Yep, now I think it works. Because if we insert the repeating detail, yeah, that's the way we want this to be. Okay, so now we can delete this and that, and we can insert a detail component. No, repeating detail component, sorry. There you go. And we can do the same thing here. Okay, that's much nicer, and we can leave it this way, or we can use a background. Okay, so as you can see, I have selected I didn't want to select that. I wanted to select, yeah, I've selected this part, but I wanted to select all these, okay, and this one as well. So now override graphics in. Now, be careful, because sometimes you think that you have selected it and you have not. 1, 2, override, yeah. And now the background is solid. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's up to you, whatever you feel like. Now for this one, I can change the pattern here. I'm going to use the cut pattern, these lines diagonal down. And for this one, I would use the solid and something dark gray. And now we need this fire retardant here. Okay, so we need to fill this with this foam, which is the fire retardant. I think I'm going to use the field region. Okay, and I can leave this because it's a different material, so probably we need a different hatch. And for this background, I can use the same grayish stuff that I used for I have trouble selecting the right thing. Okay, there you go. Okay, are we done with this? Well, we have a lot of information now. We have the concrete block, the glass wool, the rigid insulation, the fire retardant. This is the steel element. But I think I want this to be exposed. So I will, well, as you can see, this is the air layer. Okay, so the material is air, and air is invisible. So we can always exclude part, and now we don't see this layer. Okay, it's there, but we don't see that layer anymore. And I want to see this corner, so I don't want to hide with this element here. But now this is floating. Okay, so this is, what material is this? This is stainless steel. So you remember that we copied this detail, and that was like a steel plate covering everything. But it can't be floating. So I need something here. I can insert, we are in detail items, and can use metals, stats framing. Yeah, I think that will work. Either this or cold formed metal framing. Yeah, something like that. Runner channels. Okay, so those are auxiliary elements, the firing channel section. Yeah, I'm going to use this one. And so now if I select the detail, we have this C section. The problem is that it's too small. Do I have different sizes? Yep, but this is the biggest one. Okay, no problem. Okay, I can insert it here. And what is this gap? Was it 2 inches? Yeah, so this is 2 inches. So I can always edit this type, duplicate, and this is 3/4 and half. Okay, I can make it 2 inches. I click OK. Oh, I have to change this here. So now this is 2 inches. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm having this. I will have this structure here, and those structural elements will be repeated, so that I can connect. I can use bolts to connect this flange to this one. Maybe this is too thin. It should be something thicker, but well, this is the idea. And then I can use the same thing here. I can use the same detail. This is the 2-inch one. I'm going to do this. Okay. I think this is, we don't want to see this because this is the detail that I created for protecting the basement. So I will hide this in view. And there you go. That's the detail. And then I can place names again. Text, this, and I start here. What is the first? Is the gypsum board. Then I copy, and the following layer is um, 4 inches. Is glass, let's say rock wool. The next one is 8-inch concrete masonry unit. And we can copy this. This is fire retardant. And we can start this side. What is this? We can select this. This is the W-shaped column, W250 times 73. Right. Let's start again. W-shaped column. It was 230 by 73. I don't remember, so I'm making it up because I don't remember. Well, they are not visible. Yeah, so they're here. And I'm going to move this here. This is rigid insulation. 4 inches. And what is this? This is a furring channel section. Okay. This furring section. And I think this is it. I'm not happy with the colors, but anyway, this is up to you. And on this, yeah, you have to try to select another axonometric view here. I think this is good because here we are showing a different wall and we are showing the roof here, because in the other one we showed this wall here, but we didn't show the roof that we have in the other side. Okay, so at least, I think that's good, and you can show here the steel structure of that roof, and you can see here the components of that roof, and here you can place these, and then you can place that. Well, this is basically the same. We have the same components. The only thing for the level 0 callout 2, yeah, I think we have to hide the walls, and we have to move this way and this way so that we can fill this with a fire retardant with this foam as well. But we will be having the same elements. That would be the rigid insulation, the concrete masonry units, and that will be the rock wool, the gypsum board, and then you need another furring element to to hold this element that it's floating now.